Episode 47 of the SND Podcast Show on the Schmuck Sports Network. That was Division 1.1 with Dying Day. Dan, how you doing this week?
Great. How's it going this week, Steve? What's up?
Can't complain. Hockey season's officially starting tonight.
Yeah, this hockey season's finally starting. Well, technically last night.
First.
Yeah,
It's October.
Woohoo! Yeah, it's weird to say that I'm actually excited for hockey season for obvious reasons. Football team could be doing better, but we'll get into that later in the show. We're going to talk about a little playoff hockey, and of course we're
baseball. Some time before playoff hockey.
Yeah, I mean playoff baseball. I jumped the gun on that for like 6 months. Playoff baseball. Well, it was a fun game last night. Hopefully, the AL takes over tonight and proves everybody wrong as well that baseball is not dead in terms of viewership. So I'm excited to see tonight's game as well with the Rays and Cleveland Indians in Cleveland.
Yes, that's going to be an interesting game. Who do you got winning that game? Since most people are going to hear this after anyway, but
yeah, we're going to either sound really smart or really stupid. I'm going to have to go with the Cleveland Indians. They're going to be a lot more loose. They might not be the better team, but they're going to be playing a little bit more. They're going to be a lot more loose.
Right.
And what's his face? Francorno is one of the best managers around. It's actually going to be a great managers matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be knowledge versus knowledge.
But I think the Cleveland Indian fans are going to carry them to the win, pretty much like how the Pirates carried them to the win. So we'll talk more about that in the baseball segment, but that's going to be a lot of fun. The Giants are 0-4, which we are going to cover to death about. And the Jets, unfortunately, had a rough loss against the Titans on Sunday, so they're 2-2. So they fell a little bit back.
Also, the second ever butt fumble.
Yes, we'll definitely talk into that one. More in depth.
Not as bad as the
No. We'll get more in depth with that as well. Both teams have played really. Okay, we'll get into the Giants later. So because I have a lot to talk about with that.
Actually, we're going to change the karma up a little bit. We're going to go play a little more Dying Day, and we'll be right back with the Giants.
So welcome back to the S&D Podcast. You just listened to Dying Day by Division 1.1. It's kind of fitting song, don't you think, for the first team we're talking about tonight.
That's why we picked it.
Yeah, of course. We're going to start this week, a rare occasion, the first segment of the show, which they do deserve, is the New York Giants.
Well, we're kind of going back to our roots. We're doing football first, you know?
Yeah.
It is October. It's been almost 1 week from now will be a year since we started the show.
Yeah.
So, well, you watched it, so
yeah,
you go.
They played a lot better than they expected. It was just one of those other games that they just couldn't get sync and capitalize on the Chiefs' mistakes. They actually had Alex Smith turn over the ball twice the other day, and both times they couldn't convert, or they would have them punt. We contained them pretty good for 3.5 quarters. Jamal Charles only got 65 yards the whole game until at the end of the game, garbage time. We shut them down. It's the little things that are driving me nuts watching this team this year. They're not playing as one, and once the little things happen, something stupid happens, they crumble. For example, they finally get the ball a little going, a little momentum, and they'll get a penalty. Stalls a drive. Or so-and-so misses a catch. Or so-and-so misses a block. They're not playing at full capability, obviously, as you know, since they're 0-4. You gotta say the turning point of the game was that punt return for a touchdown, which
Dexter McCluster.
Which was a pretty amazing touchdown punt return, but the coverage was just stupid, awful on that. 2-3 guys missed. That one spin move was pretty outstanding, but you got to make that tackle. That was the beginning of the end. The minute that happened, you knew the Giants' chances of coming back and winning just wasn't existent. David Wilson, there was some positives. Eli they didn't really have a good game other than Victor Cruz, 164 yards with 10 receptions. David Wilson actually had the biggest carry amount of the year so far, getting 55 yards, and he averaged 4.2 per carry. That was good to see.
How to start developing, especially with the banged up offensive line this week.
Yeah, with the banged up offensive line, it's just they're not right. I think with the whole division cooking and playing in conference the next few weeks, I think they're going to be able to get it going a little bit. I think this week, if they don't win this week, obviously I said it the last 3 weeks, but if they don't get it going this week against a division rival that obviously you don't know all about because Chip Kelly bringing in a new system.
Totally new offense.
But it isn't totally new from the standpoint it's the same key players. They're able to they're gonna know what the players' tendencies are and everything like that. The Eagles' defense isn't that great either, so you're gonna be expecting a high-scoring game. The Giants need to win the game, and if they're gonna get David Wilson going, it has to be this week.
Well,
the first 4 games, each 4 of the running backs the Eagles have faced, they all broke 100.
Okay. So their defense is not good. This game could end up being in the 80s.
Yeah. As all joking aside, it really can. But honestly, though, I think the Giants' defense, I know they've given up 30 points a game, yada, yada, yada. But for the most part, the defense has played pretty good for what they're expected to do with certain circumstances. I think Prince Amukamara has been our best player so far this season. He's been our best player so far on defense. He's been he has had a couple opportunities getting picks. He actually got one last week. Of course, Antrell Roll is the new leader of the team. I don't care what anybody else says. He predicts us to go 12-0. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But
right, it does. Why not?
Why not? I think the Giants have had 4-game losing streaks before, and I think we're gonna finally end up. We're at the second quarter of the season.
Didn't we have one the last Super Bowl run?
Yeah, but this is different. It's not how you start. It's not how you start. It's how you finish.
Right.
But being at an 0-4 start, it's not looking good. I just want the Giants to go out there and play hard each week and let the chips fall wherever they may be.
Yes.
This week they're home. This is their second home game. The first home game was just not. They weren't going to win.
It wasn't fair.
And after looking at it, the Broncos might go undefeated this year.
Peyton went from Peyton to beyond Peyton. He channeled every great quarterback before him this year.
Yeah.
And added it to whatever he does.
Yeah.
That's how great he's been this year.
And this is our second home game this year. It's been a really weird schedule. So maybe for once we get home cooking instead of being a good road team, since we're 0-3 on the road so far, which is weird to say.
I was kind of hoping the white jerseys were going to do something.
Yeah. Well, at least they scored a touchdown this week. They need to get it going. I think a lot of people thought the whole cutting of Darrell Scott this week was going to maybe get the Giants give David Wilson the ball more. I think it doesn't really matter because on any given week, David Wilson's pinky toe is better than Darrell Scott. So it's just we need to feed him the ball and see what he can do and get some lanes open. They actually, for the first time ever, gave him back-to-back running plays for the first time this season. Of course, it was 3rd and 1. They had to throw a stupid pass, but they need to get Brendan Myers as well. Akeem Nicks, I'm sorry. Akeem Nicks is missing milk ads. He dropped like 3 passes. Unfortunately, 1 pass was called back for holding that he called it with one hand, which was impressive. But the clock is ticking with Akeem Nicks. I'm getting everybody's getting tired of. It's really getting to that point with Akeem Nicks that he really needs to show up. It's a couple of weeks ago he made a comment, which he's right about, that he doesn't throw himself the ball, but he needs to find a way to get open.
Yeah, it's not that he's not getting the ball thrown to him. It's not he's not open.
He's not open, or they don't have enough time to get the ball to him. It's a mixture of both, and Other than Victor Cruz right now on the offense, he's the only one playing awesome caliber football. But we need the offense needs to wake up, and I think this week against the Eagles, they're finally going to do that.
They have the chance to because of how bad the Eagles' defense is.
Yes.
That's the advantage they have.
That's the advantage. I hope the Giants' defense brought their oxygen tanks on the sidelines this week.
Ugh.
It's
Poor
going to be
Justin
ugly.
Tuck.
Poor Justin Tuck is right. We're going to need our guys, Hankins and Demetri Moore, to step up big time this week. We don't know how JPP's saying and acting like he's able to play, but he does have a sprained knee. So that he's not going to be his full self as always, which is scary to see. But let's see what happens with him. He's been practicing this week, so you expect him to go.
On a little not on the team guy anymore news. Credit to Marvin Austin got signed.
Yeah, he played good.
Played a little bit.
He played in garbage time on Monday night against the Saints. He made a couple plays, so good to see him.
Yes, so congratulations to
that. I've been babbling on the whole segment. What do you think this week?
This week, I think we could pull this one out because.
But here's the thing, though. I'm sorry for jumping down your throat. This is the thing. We need to have an early start for once. Because the minute since we're 0-4, how jumpy Giant fans are going to be on Sunday. Especially with the Eagles. A lot of Eagle fans are going to be in town.
Oh, definitely.
It's going to be very interesting to see how the Giants, if they wake up for the first time in the first half, which I highly doubt because that's not the Giants' style. It's going to be very interesting to see how the Giants bounce back for the first time they hear blows, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I just know that watching the Giants for the last X amount of years with this Giants style of team, they don't play good in the first quarter. So it's going to be interesting with the boos.
It's going to get loud, and it's not going to be Cruz. It's going to be boos.
Yeah,
the whole way. Especially because you're gonna watch the Eagle offense. They average 50 plays a half. It's going to
be the Giants are going to have to find ways to get off the field and actually sustain long drives, which the Giants don't do. They have to get the play calling down.
My biggest question is, where's the punt coverage team this year?
It's a mixture of both. I hate to say it. Steve Weatherford hasn't been playing to Steve Weatherford par.
He hasn't. The team hasn't been good.
Two touchdowns.
Two touchdowns this year. Two long ones also.
Two bombs. Coughlin was giving Steve Weatherford a little crap during the game, but team should have covered it.
Yeah. Can't make the tackle.
No. He actually didn't have that terrible of a game. One, he did get a punt all the way down to the one, but I forgot who was the gunner. Forgot to get out of the end zone before
That just happens.
The Giants just they can't get out of their own way, and that's the main reasons why we're sucking right now. And the Giants need to fix on that. And I think with our coaching staff and our veterans, I think we could find a way. And the scary thing is we're only a game out if we end up winning this game, because everybody's expecting the Cowboys to lose to the Broncos. So that's scary.
We'll talk about that game later because
that's really scary to think. The Giants haven't obviously earned a chance to even be a thought in any division title, but we could be a game out.
You know what's scary about the NFC East? It's probably the worst division now. It was probably hardest division just a couple years ago.
Yeah, it is complete role reversal of the NFC East and the NFC West.
Oh, no question about it.
And it's scary to think about it. It's really interesting. I think the Giants find a way to pull it out. David Wilson finally has that breakout game. It's do or die now for him, for fantasy standpoints, and just for his sanity. And my sanity and your sanity and everybody's sanity. I think he finally has a breakout game. Victor Cruz is Victor Cruz.
You don't have to worry about Cruz.
Like we've been saying every week.
Again, it's all about the protecting of Eli.
It's the protecting of Eli. I just would love to see us get the quick, short passing game going. I don't get... That's how you beat pass rushes. Quick, short passes, and play it out of the shotgun. If you're not going to run the ball, you might as well do that. And for some odd reason, we don't do that. And when we do, it's too late in the game to come back. So, and we do have players that are going to be good off the slants and everything like that. So might as well use it.
When you put the ball in Akeem Nicks's hands, he can make things happen.
Exactly.
Get him on a quick slant.
But
we saw it in the game against Atlanta in the playoff game a couple years ago. He was tackled right in the middle of the field.
But that's a completely different Akeem Nicks, though.
Yeah, but that was Akeem Nicks who barely played all season.
Yeah.
He was hurt all year.
Yeah. That was a knee surgery and foot surgery ago, though, unfortunately. But anything can happen right now. They need to stick together, and hopefully Dustin Tuck doesn't punch anybody in the face.
Yeah.
Hopefully he punches someone in the Eagles' face. That would be nice to see.
Without being seen.
Yes, of course. But the Go Giants, they need to wake up, and if it's not this week, they're going to unfortunately be never for this 2013 team. So I think this week might be the week. It's either now or never. So I can't see the Giants going 0-5, and I've said that the last 3 weeks. It's so crazy to think just the amount of time I spend watching this team and just eat, sleep, and breathe Giant football. Them to be 0-5, it's just crazy to think about.
Yeah,
and it's getting to that frustrating point that you can't even be mad anymore. You're just shaking your head of disgust and shock. And I think this week is going to be the week. It's a rivalry game, so even though they have a shot of being they're already 0-4, they already have. It's a rivalry game, and they have to wake up. The crowd's going to try. The keyword "try" is to get them going, and the real fans, that is. But with that being said, I think they're going to pull it out. I hope so. Go Giants! Beat the Eagles.
By the way, it's going to be over.
What?
The over/under.
Oh, yeah. What do you know?
53.5.
It could be over. Should be over.
I could see 60.
It could be. It should be, with the way both defenses have been playing. But
the difference between the Eagles this year and the past couple of years is McCoy gets the ball.
Yeah, well, duh. McCoy is a freaking beast. And
Andy Reid was never big on running the ball.
What we've been saying about McCoy the last couple of years is coming true right in front of our eyes.
We knew it.
So it's going to be a run. It's going to be a crazy game, and it's hopefully the G-men get the ball at the end of the game.
This is how I say the Eagle offense. It's used to be, okay, we're going to put the ball basically in Vic's hands and let him be the playmaker and decide everything. You put it in his hands, he gets hit, he gets hurt. Chip Kelly's offense is...
Well, I'm gonna disagree with you a little bit.
Chip Kelly's offense is give the ball to McCoy, let him do everything. Offenses move up.
I kind of disagree with you, actually, a little bit. I was watching one of the Giants shows on their website, Politano. If you don't watch Politano stuff on Giants.com, you're missing out. Him and Robin Oben were doing Giants Eagles previews. Vic is still getting the carries. Not as much as previous years, but he's still getting the carries, and he's still getting 8.8 yards per carry. And you can't let that happen.
Later on in the game where he gets those because the McCoy factor.
Yeah. It's going to be, the Giants defense is going to be, it's going to have a long day. Deshaun Jackson's leading the league in YAC. For those who don't know, YAC, it's yards after catch. They're going to have to buckle their chin straps and play hard and play 60 minutes, which they have not played once this whole entire season. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a shootout, and hopefully the better team wins, and it's the Giants. So
it's all we can hope for at this point.
And I know a lot of people are going to get on me for the better team, but since we're 0-4,
we don't know who the better team is.
We don't know who it is. I'm so used to saying the Giants, but that was a habit. But obviously they're not the better team right now. So here's more Division 1.1 Dying Day, and we're going to talk about the Jets next.
SND Podcast is in no way affiliated with, associated with, produced, or endorsed by the National Football League or any of its affiliates.
Welcome back to episode 47 of the SND Podcast Show on the Schmuck Sports Network. Once again, that was Division 1.1 with Dying Day. Don't forget to check them out. I know they're working very hard right now in the studio on some new things. Can't wait for that stuff to come out. Jets. I did say they were going to lose.
Yeah, you did. I was misled by the win on Sunday. Geno Smith's just not ready to play on the road. As you can see, the 2 road games have been atrocious, and both of the losses.
This week's a nice test for him, right? Who are they playing this week?
It's unfortunately going to be a loss. They're playing.
My point exactly. It's a big test.
Pretty much, he threw for 289 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, and a fumble. And a fumble that he tried to do like a behind the back to make sure he doesn't get swiped from the fumble, and his butt got in the way, and he literally did butt fumble, which was pretty funny. Blair Powell got 66 yards rushing. This game was tough. They had no receiving. Unfortunately, both Stephen Hill and Santonio Holmes both got hurt. But unfortunately, the game got out of the way before the first quarter. Geno Smith turned over the ball twice, and a decent Titans team, before Jake Locker got hurt, was able to capitalize on that. And Nate Washington had a good game, and they were just able to take care of business. Jake Locker had 3 touchdowns before leaving the game. So Jake Locker had a pretty impressive game. He had
that poor guy. Every time he starts looking good,
it's really sad because he was looking really good. He looked accomplished. He was able to break the run. He was able to take care of it. He had 3 rushes for 17 yards, which is good for a quarterback. It's just that was a sad situation. I see
the guy just can't stay
Copel's laying him out, and this was bad to see that the cart took him out he wasn't able to get out off the field on his own. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Titans are going to do the rest of the way. Well, they do have Ryan Fitzpatrick.
They got the Harvard grad.
So it's going to be interesting. I expect Chris Johnson to get a little bit more carries. He only got 21 yards for 15 carries, which is awful. I had him on my fantasy team, so I wasn't happy.
You know what's good about Ryan Fitzpatrick? What's lucky to be him about? Probably the highest paid player in the league.
Yeah, probably.
Between 2 contracts.
Yeah. But this is for the Jets segment. If it wasn't for Kellen Winslow and Jeremy Curley,
Kellen Winslow's been Geno's guy this year.
Yeah,
really.
He was quiet for the last 2 weeks, so it was good to see him getting back his security blanket, especially since the Holmes and Hill both got hurt, like I mentioned earlier.
They did bring in David Nelson, former Bill.
Yeah, they did bring him in this week. So it's going to be interesting to see. He might not be ready for game time this week, but they might have to push him in quicker than expected, especially since Curley and Clyde Gates are both not NFL. Well, Curley's good. He's a slot guy, obviously. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough to see what the Jets' wide receiving core is going to look, especially on a Monday night game against the Falcons.
In Atlanta.
And Atlanta's seeing blood because they've played down to what they're supposed to be, and they had a rough loss against the Patriots this week. Unfortunately, I picked the Jets the last 2 weeks. Unfortunately, I'm going to change my mind, and I'm going to be going with the Falcons this week. Just too much is going on with the Falcons, and they need a win in the worst way, and the Jets are not going to be able to hold their own. Geno Smith's not ready to win on the road, especially in a tough place in Atlanta, especially on Monday Night Football.
Monday Night Football, indoors, place is going to be loud.
Yeah, it's gonna be. They're gonna find a way to hang in there for us. It's just when
like
is that
like the Dolphins did for 1 quarter they hang in.
Yeah, it is exactly what's gonna happen. But the Dolphins are a much better team than the Jets.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean.
So that could happen. That could happen after like two possessions. It could get ugly quick, but just knowing the Jets' defense, they're gonna fight until the final play. So you never know which that Jet team is gonna come. out to play. And
Hey, I hope they surprise us. So show up and make it a football game, Jets. I mean,
but the Falcons' offense needs to wake up, and I think it's going to be this week.
how about that pass on Sunday night from Matt Ryan to Julio?
It's amazing. It's just amazing how good Julio Jones is, and the scary thing is,
and it was like double coverage too.
that not only that, Waddy Wright is not even healthy yet.
Right. Believe me, I know. He's on a couple of my fantasy teams.
And that's the scary thing for that offense. And once they get it going all together, forget it. So I think this week the Falcons are going to get it right, unfortunately, at the Jets' expense. It's a Monday night game, so everybody's going to have a long day of work or school, and then get to see this that night. So I don't know. Like, it's going to be interesting. The Jets are light talk. I just don't see Geno Smith ready to win a Monday Night Football game on the road. He's a completely different quarterback on the home and road. If you check out the splits, it's just completely two different types of players, which you kind of expect out of a rookie, getting the jitters of being on the road and the crowd noise not being favored to your side. But that comes with the territory and the age. So this is a pass. You every time Geno Smith has a rough game out on the road or at home, it's going to be a pass. A lot of criticisms, but questions that they should have taken Geno Smith out like kind of like a relief pitcher. It could have went two ways. I think kept him in the game, get him going a little bit until you completely give up on the game, kind of thing. And it was good to see Rex giving him the faith of like, hey, this is your team now since Sanchez is not healthy for the rest of the season. It's your team. Just take this as a learning experience and take it and run, kind of thing. It's completely different from Mark Sanchez's rookie year to now because they had an older team and they were able to find ways to win and make it to the playoffs. This year, the Jets team is just going to be a bubble team, and they're going to have some good weeks that you are like, all right, the Jets showed up and played. Good job. They're actually fun to watch this year so far, because you don't know which Jet team's going to show up. Of course, the crappy games like last week and the Patriots game, but the other two games that they did win were actually entertaining as hell.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they just got to stay out of getting penalties, and that's their biggest concern this year. So
well, one thing that Rex always didn't mind in Baltimore was play hard, play every play, take a penalty, we'll make up for it later.
Yeah,
so
but
it kind of comes out where he may have brought that concept to the team again. But it's just getting a little out of hand.
Yeah, but there's a point. If you're gonna get a stupid if you're gonna get a pass interference call or a holding call to prevent a touchdown, yeah. But a couple of penalties have just been stupid, on my point of view. It's not an excuse. It's not an excuse. They just got to play smarter, and they're lucky. They're lucky that they've been able to overcome that one game that they broke a record in penalties in a game. But unfortunately, the Falcons are just a much better team, especially at home. Granted, they lost to the Patriots, but the Patriots are 100 times better than the Jets, as we all know. So, the Falcons, obviously, I think the Falcons are going to steamroll them, unfortunately, on Monday night.
Yeah, definitely. 9.5, and I can actually see them covering that.
Yeah, I could see them covering, too.
43.5 over under.
Under. Actually,
I'm going to say over.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I'm going to say over on the 43.5. It's just going to be rough for them.
It's going to, if the Jets...
basically no receivers. There's really no...
If the Jets are within a field goal or a touchdown in the first quarter, at the end of the first quarter, then that's a success, without a doubt, in my point of view. And it's just kind of thing. I can't explain it.
It's true though. It's frustrating. The problem is that I don't see Geno Smith as future quarterback to build around.
Not yet.
I don't think he will be. Like, you just look at that one play where he fumbled the ball off his butt. Like, why are you trying to pass the ball over to your other hand? Put the ball next to your chest and hold on.
But to be fair, Geno Smith has had flashes of him being good.
He has.
So it's gonna be a learning process. Geno Smith is not gonna be the next Tom Brady, obviously, or the Cam Newtons of the world, but he could definitely be a respectable quarterback and lead the Jets to a couple wins if he corrects his mistakes, unlike what Mark Sanchez did. Obviously, Mark Sanchez is a hard worker, and there's no denying that, but he just didn't fix his mental mistakes.
One thing,
it really is all about the growth of the quarterback.
One thing Sanchez had early in his career, though, was Thomas Jones and LaDainian Tomlinson.
Correct.
Powell and Chris Ivory are not Thomas Jones.
Absolutely not, but Powell has been proving that he can carry the load.
He can carry the load, but he's still...
No, of course not. And they did have a young Sean Green that was able to change the pace from the Thomas Jones and the LTs.
Correct.
So,
Geno, there's a lot more pressure on, I feel. There isn't as much as a running game.
Yeah,
him.
Of course. With the injuries, it's going to be tough for any quarterback, so especially for a rookie quarterback on the road. It's going to be very interesting. The Jets are going to be very run-happy, which we expected, since they need to be able to establish clock time, clock management, because the Falcons are just going to shoot. They're just going to shoot off on the Jets, and it's by halftime, if the Jets defense had been on the field for half of the half, it's going to be a long game. And no matter what kind of defense you're going to be playing, it's not going to bode well, because your defense is going to just shut down of being tired. It's just going to be one of those games, unfortunately, and the Jet fans are going to just have to ride it out like they've ridden out mostly of the losses this year. So hang in there, Jet fans. Hey, maybe they shock us and
win Monday night.
Win Monday night, but let's be realistic. It's not going to happen.
But it is October, so we're going to go play some more Division 1.1, and we'll be back for some baseball.
SND Podcast is in no way affiliated with, associated with, produced, or endorsed by the National Football League or any of its affiliates.
It is finally October, which means it is finally baseball playoff time. Welcome back to the SND Podcast Show on the Schmuck Sports Network. Playoff baseball.
Yeah, it's finally here. It's a rare occasion, granted, for the Yankees standpoint, but a first time in a couple years that no New York team, both the Yankees, have not made the playoffs. So there isn't any New York baseball playoffs going on, but nevertheless, it's going to be a real fun, interesting playoffs. We already had 2 exciting games. The first game was the play-in game just to be able to play the NAL wildcard game, which is going on at the moment. And how epic last night was for the Pirates fans, beating the Cincinnati Reds in the wildcard game. So it was awesome to see how energetic and how awesome the Pittsburgh crowd was, and how they helped them lead them to the win. Granted, they hit a bunch of home runs early in the game. Russell Martin actually hit 2 in the whole entire game. It was just awesome to see how a city captivated a team, especially for not making the playoffs for 21 seasons. So it was awesome to see that. Unfortunately, do I see them able to take care of business in the division round against the Cardinals? I think the storybook season is going to come to that. The Cardinals are just a much better team.
The experience
alone in the playoffs. It's pretty much how it was last year with them playing the Nationals. It's the same exact theory last year. Everybody thought the Nationals were going to find a way to win. They had a shot to win in Game 5, but they had an epic choke job, and they haven't been the same since. But I think the Cardinals are just more proven and everything like that. I say St. Louis in 5. I think the Pirates are going to find a way to win.
Pirates are not going to... Oh, yeah, they're going to find a way.
We'll find a way to win the game.
They're going to win a home game.
They're going to win a home game.
Definitely going to win a home game. Why shouldn't they win a home game?
Yeah. It's gonna be It's definitely gonna be interesting. I think they might steal one in Cleveland. I mean, St. Louis. I wouldn't be shocked. Then I think the Cardinals are gonna win it in 5. I really think they are the better team, but just how much of a hype the Pirates have been playing, and they have played 19 times this year, so they know each other pretty well. So just because of that, it's gonna go to 5. And I don't expect anything less out of that.
I'm going to say it's going to be 4 because it's best out of 5.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
I'm going to say 4. It's going to be 3-1 Cardinals at the end.
Okay, yeah, I could see that too. But I just have this feeling about the Pirates, them being the hot team, but the Cardinals are just the team that's been around. Just they're that flavor that's always there in October. So I think it's going to be them. The next series in the NL is the Braves and Dodgers. I'm torn in this series. I want to see the Dodgers win. Obviously, for obvious reasons, I am not the biggest Braves fan.
Braves got the pitching in.
The Braves have the pitching in this series, but having Kershaw trumps all of the other things right now. And Brian Wilson has been a stud, which has been a stonewall in their bullpen, which they needed early in the year. It was devastating to lose Matt Kemp. Granted, he wasn't really Matt Kemp of old this season at all, obviously. I'm going to have to... This series is going 5. Which way it's going? What do you think?
I'm going to go with the Dodgers in this series. I just think that they're riding that high. And also, you look at games 1 and 2, you have the best pitcher in baseball.
Yep.
Kershaw going. Mm-hmm. And then you got Greinke.
Yeah, I like the Dodgers.
As much as I think in the back end, the Braves have the pitching.
Yeah.
In the front end,
but this is where the Dodgers have the advantage because it is a 5-game series. That the Dodgers have the advantage right now, and they have a better offense. Granted, they have the better lineup, and it really says something when I know he's not what he was before the contract. But when your top-paid guy in Dan Uggla doesn't make the roster, something has to give right there. I think Justin Upton is going to be a stud, and Freeman is a stud, and Hayward's a stud. But I don't know. Something about the Dodgers this year, I just like them a little bit more. So I'm gonna say Dodgers. Who are the lower seeds? So they are going to be...
Dodgers are the lower seed.
But I see them pulling it off.
By the way, Braves in Game 4, as of right now, have Freddie Garcia scheduled.
Yeah, which is not going to happen.
I'm just saying.
I would highly doubt that.
Unless they're up 2-1.
Yeah.
Then you may see him pitch just because, if you clinch, then you get to save your best guys for the next series.
Yeah, that really depends on who's pitch. How's the series going. If it's serious, if it's going to be serious right now, it's not going to happen.
You don't think Freddie Garcia? He didn't pitch at all this year.
No.
Kind of weird. Yeah, good for him making the roster.
Yeah, good for him. All right, American League. Obviously, right now the game's going on. It's 1-0 Tampa Bay. The winner of this game gets to go to Boston.
What could end up being 2 great storylines because you either have Terry Francona returning to Boston, or you just have AL East versus AL East.
Yes. All right, let's make 2 predictions. So
okay, fine.
We be safe. All right. So if it's Terry Francona's Cleveland Indians versus the Red Sox.
Red Sox.
Okay.
That's just simple.
That's simple, but how many games?
3.
3? You're thinking of a sweep, huh?
Yeah.
Boston is that good of a team this year, especially against Cleveland. I say Boston 4.
Boston 4?
Yeah, they find a way to win a game. Just because that's how scrappy and loose the Cleveland Indians are going to be this year. They have been this year. They are the hottest team in the league.
I want you to just think of the first 3 pitchers for Boston.
Oh, I know. I know. But honestly, they've been the hottest team in the league, right. So they're going to find a way to win a game.
Their first 4 are outstanding.
Yeah.
You got Lesser, Lackey, Buchholz, and Peavy.
Yeah, no, it's impressive, and I'm not taking anything away from them, but Cleveland's going to steal a game if they play.
If Buchholz was healthy this year, he may have had...
Dude's always hurt. Who cares? It's whatever. He is what he is. What about if Tampa pays? This is going to be a better series.
If Tampa Bay wins... This
series is going 5.
I'm going to say 5, and it's not because of pitching. It's because Tampa Bay just knows how to play in the postseason. Joe Madden just knows how to manage.
That, and they know each other. They played 19 times.
They've been there.
I think Boston sneaks one out. If Boston wins in 5 and they sneak one out, they're going to be sweating a little bit. This is going to be the most interesting series. The Tigers versus the Athletics.
Tigers are the lower seed.
And that's the scary thought. What do you think of this series?
Right.
It really depends on Miggy Cabrera's health. But with the short series with Scherzer and Verlander, it's going to be tough.
How do you go against them?
With how sluggish the Oakland A's lineup is compared to other playoff teams, it's going to be. I think the Tigers could actually sweep the A's. I'm not saying
I'm going to give the A's a home win.
They're going to steal one from Verlander or Scherzer, though?
Verlander hasn't been Verlander.
I know, but it's playoff time, so I think Verlander's going to wake up.
I don't know. Yeah, it's playoff time, but I just feel like I think they're going to steal one of the two.
Yeah, or
they may even. I can see them stealing one game in Detroit. The game 3 is Jared Parker versus Anibal Sanchez.
All right, fine. So it's gonna be Tigers in 4.
4. Yeah, the Tigers are winning the series.
But if there's a sweep, I'm gonna say that the Tigers are gonna be the team that does the sweep.
Oh, definitely, no question about that.
Unfortunately, but once again, the Athletics. I would love to see the Athletics advance, but Tigers are just so much better team, and
it's the same story every year.
It really
for
is
the Athletics, and it's bad. It's sad.
It's really sad. They just they know how to win a division. They just can't get over that hump, and maybe they should pay someone and get high paid players, and maybe
they're playing Cespedes.
That's it. But it's like the movie. It's over and over and over again. It's impressive, but you got to show me and win a series for once.
Oh, no question about it. You got.
But unfortunately, they always have to play the Yankees or the Tigers, or who did they play last year? No, the Yankees. No,
Tigers.
They did play the Tigers. Yeah, they weren't ready for them last year.
The Yankees played the Orioles.
Yeah, I was at Game 5. That was fun. Anyway,
you were the only person there, weren't you?
Yes, $20 seats. That was fun. So all right, so that's going to be interesting NLCS. Or do you want to save our rest of the picks?
Let's save the rest of the picks because.
All right, might as well before we end the baseball segment.
Let's talk about Mets Yankees. The season ended.
The season ended.
Mets better go spend money.
Mets are going to have to go spend money.
Okay, fine. Let's get into the debate. Is Robbie Cano a $300 million player?
Obviously not, because there isn't a player that it's worth that much money. If
A-Rod in his prime.
If A-Rod in his prime didn't get that much money, Robbie Cano is not going to get it. I think,
yeah, but that was 10 years ago.
You're absolutely right, but no one's worth $300 million, and owners other than the Los Angeles teams right now are that stupid to pay.
Okay, will the Dodgers pay Robbie Cano $300 million?
I don't think so. They don't have the money. Well, they have the money, but I don't think they have that much more money.
They can't have that much more money.
It's impossible, and they have to find a way to re-sign Grant. I don't know when they're free agents, but you have to assume Kershaw is going to be getting money soon, especially when he wins the Cy Young this year.
Right.
I think he's going to come back to the Yankees, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be interesting to see which team is dumb enough to give him more money in that extra year that he's going to be looking for.
Okay. Are you willing to go as high as 10 years for Cano? That's the better question.
In a perfect world, 7 years is the way to go.
6 years with an option.
Yeah.
6 year with a club option.
Even 7 years. Just give him flat out 7 years. I think he would do. But unfortunately, he's not going to get the Yankees are not going to get a hometown discount.
Oh, no way they get a discount.
It's going to be interesting to see what Jay-Z does for his first client. But
It'll be interesting to see if he goes.
Honestly, though, I love Cano. He's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but he's not a game changer. That he gets that money. Like the highest player in the league should theoretically be Miguel Cabrera. If there is any player in the league, he should be the one getting the $300 million, and that's even a far stretch. Cano is an all-star, don't get me wrong, obviously, but no one's worth that much money. And at the end of the day, he's not going to be lived up to the hype of that contract. That contract is just bad news waiting to happen. That's pretty much what happened with A-Rod. And the contracts with Pujols and everybody like that. It's just people can't live up to the hype of how much money they get paid. So I don't see him being the first person reaching $300 million. It's just not going to happen. But that being said, I still find the Yankees find a way to keep him. Girardi, I could see him coming back. The Yankees obviously want him back. I think he should have some consideration being manager of the year, just what he had to go through this year and mixing and matching of teams.
Okay, better question is, does Jeter come back next year?
Yes, Jeter definitely comes back, just knowing Derek Jeter. And
he's not going to go out this way.
Not a shot. Not a shot. He's going to be rehabbing like he's been all year, and he's going to be able to heal completely, and next season is going to be his. He's going to be able to play not every day, but he's going to be able to play shortstop and DH for the most part next year. So
you got to realize that the Yankees have one starting pitcher, two if you include Nova. Kuroda only had a 1-year deal.
Yeah, I could see him coming back though.
I could see him coming back as well. Hughes is gone.
Hughes is gone without a shot. Java's gone.
Really, the only three positions set next year is your opening day starter in CC or Kuroda. Your first baseman, because Teixeira is going to come back healthy.
Yeah, that's going to be huge next year.
You get Ichiro, who's got another year.
Ichiro and Vernon Wells, I think, Vernon Wells might have another year.
I think he got an option on his contract.
And he
Jeter.
Deserves it.
And A-Rod.
And don't forget Gardner.
And Gardner is back as well. Okay, fine. Speaking of Gardner being back, how much is Curtis Granderson worth?
Well, Granderson's still going to be on the team.
Granderson's a free agent.
He's a free agent? This season hurt him with all the injuries. He's not going to get his full market value.
Well, I think someone will give him the full market value for him because you know what you're going to get. But the better question becomes, was he a product of
Yankee Stadium?
Yankee Stadium.
Honestly,
was he a Yankee Stadium product? Cause
with the home runs, obviously, and he obviously catered to the home runs because of the ballpark. But Granderson can be a slap hitter because
he's got the speed.
He got the speed, and him because he played in Comerica Park for a while.
Yeah.
So, the thing with him though, he's gonna find a pitcher's ballpark. I think he's coming back to the Yankees for cheaper than what he originally wanted, but that's what happens when you get hurt. So he's gonna be very friendly. He's gonna be friendlier than what he originally projected. Like if he was a free agent last year, he would be making a lot more money just because of how good of a year he was last year. That's just how it goes.
It started with, I think it was like the third pitch he saw in spring training. He got hit.
Yeah, exactly. So it just was one of those years with the Yankees. Everybody got hurt. I would like to see the Yankees get a catcher.
They need a catcher.
They definitely need a catcher, and it's going to
need a guy who can play third base.
What about Euclid?
That's right. I completely forgot Euclid will be back next year as well.
Yeah, he should be back next year, and it really depends on his back and if he's able to stay healthy. Hopefully Pineda also comes back.
That's right.
Pineda, or whatever you like to pronounce it. He should. That trade, what a wash that trade's been so far, huh? But hopefully Pineda shows up next year and he's ready to play and his injury is healed and he's be able to be what the Yankees traded him for.
Okay, you're a GM. You get your choice. You can either have Cano or Granderson, not both. Who do you resign?
That's a no-brainer. Obviously, Cano. That's a no-brainer.
Even if he wants $275.
No, but every time has that boiling point. But Cano is more of a hybrid, a premium position at second base.
Right. It's rare to find. You can find a center fielder to fit.
That and Gardner actually played a good center field this year. Obviously, he has a great glove, but he did hold his own playing every day. So if the Yankees lose Granderson, they lose Granderson. Of course, they're going to miss his pop, obviously, like they did this year. But they know Gardy's going to be able to take advantage of it, and he's going to be fully healed by the time spring training comes around with his injury because he missed the last few weeks of the year. But I think with that, the Yankees are going to be fine. They're going to be a real team next year, like every other Major League ball club with the closer situation. It's going to be interesting to see how they're going to be, who's their closer going to be. In a perfect world, they wish last year was the year that Soriano was able to sign with the Yankees.
Yeah, that's right.
It was just they knew Mariano Rivera was going to come back for one more year. They should have figured something out. But that's what happens in a perfect world. Soriano knew he wanted to get paid now and be the closer for the team, for the Nats. So
it'll be interesting to see if Robinson can actually take over.
Yeah, he's had his moments and he's had his crappy moments, but
they may look to sign a guy like a Latrell Hawkins type guy.
Nah.
No, I'm not saying him in general. I'm saying like him, where he used to close for a team. He'll pitch the eighth, and if Robinson struggles, you can always move him into.
Yeah, I could see that.
You'll bring a guy and say, "Listen, you're going to be our 8 guy. If we need to, we can always use you."
They do need the help. They do need the bullpen help. Their team's gonna be really human like it was this year. So it's gonna be very interesting to see.
It seems like it could end up being a rough couple of years for the Yankees, and the fans are just gonna have to deal with it. But for now, we're gonna play some more Dying Day.
We're gonna do our football picks. All right.
We'll do our football picks. So let's go play a little more Division 1.1.
SND Podcast is in no way affiliated with, associated with, produced, or endorsed by Major League Baseball or any of its affiliates.
All right, welcome back to the S&D Podcast. That was a great baseball segment. Hopefully our playoff predictions go to live. You just listened to Dying Day by, of course, Division 1.1. Who else would we play other than Division 1.1? We're going to start off with our baseball, silly me, football picks for this week.
Football.
Anyway, it's a decent week. A couple of good games. Which game want to hit on first?
Let's start with one of the 1 o'clock games that I think will be one of the more interesting ones. And the 4-0 Saints going to the 3-1 Chicago Bears.
That's a toughie. I think the Saints get their first loss this year. Bears, no pun intended, are going to be hungry to come back after a crappy game last week. They couldn't get out of their own way. Jay Cutler had his bad Jay Cutler moments last week with a bunch of picks, just ungodly turnovers. I think the Bears D is going to be able to contain the Saints for as good the Saints is. I think the Bears are going to still win this week.
I can see it also. It's going to be interesting because one thing you noticed the Saints is their offense is fast.
Yes.
And with that really crappy field in Chicago, can a fast offense be able to move?
Yeah, exactly. I think the Bears find a way to pull it out. By no means it's going to be a blowout either way, unless the Saints decide to be the Saints. That would be the only way for a blowout. But I'm going to be taking the Bears this week, and they're going to find enough. They're going to pull out the home upset. I'm
going to take the Bears as well on that game. Like I said, that field is just going to slow them down. And of course, the Bears have a nice short week coming up.
Yes,
next week.
The next game I definitely want to touch base on is the Seahawks and Colts. The Seahawks had a great comeback win against the Texans last week. They were down 21-3, and they found a way to fight back and win in overtime. They are playing the Colts on the road. It's going to be tough, back-to-back weeks on the road, coming to different time zone. It's going to be tough. I like the Colts.
I don't believe they went back.
They didn't?
Not from what I heard. I don't believe they went back.
Okay, it's going to be another great game. I think this week might be the week that the Colts finally get to. This is the week that finally the Colts offense becomes that awesome top 5, top 10 offense this year. That with Andrew Luck and Trent Richardson finally gets the running game going. It's going to be another close game. For some reason, I'm going to say the Colts. They impressed me a lot against the 49ers.
Is that your upset of the week?
That is my upset of the week.
All right, you tried this last week with the Seahawks.
And it's not a disrespect towards the Seahawks. The Seahawks are not going undefeated this year. And the Texans, if they were able to close it out, I looked good for 3.5 quarters.
Yeah, I was at the Met game, and Kayla and I looked at the score and like, wow, Dan's going to get this right. And we got the T-Bones, and it's like, whoa, hello.
Yeah, I had a shot. You just don't throw Richard Sherman's way in the clutch situation like that. That's what happened. But they do get the rest of their secondary back this week. So it's going to be interesting to see how Andrew Luck is going to be able to use the passing game. They're going to heavily rely on Bobby Fleener and Trent Richardson to get a lot of damage this week. So Colts are going to be my upset pick of the week. No one's going to be picking the Colts, and I'm going to take.
I'm going to take the Seahawks,
which I figured.
I just love that defense.
Oh, I love that defense too. I don't know. I think the Colts have the NFC West number this year. Just the way they beat the Niners. I don't know. It's just something about them. I like them.
Okay. The next game we're going to talk about is the NFC North rival this week, the Lions at the Packers. Now, I'm going to go first on this one.
Okay.
Because this is my upset of the week.
Oh, you're going Lions.
I'm going to take the Lions going to Green Bay.
Is it really an upset right now, record-wise?
If you look, no, of course not. But it's the fact that they're on the road. They don't really win there. They don't really beat the Packers. I think they're ready to take that step. The one thing that scares me, of course, is who's that second receiver?
Ryan Brawls was supposed to be that. So let's see what happens. Hopefully he steps up.
Sorry to Big Vin, by the way. Taking the
Big Vin's gonna like me. I'm gonna take the Colts. I'm gonna take the Packers. They had an extra couple of days to prepare this game. Aaron Rodgers didn't have his best game last start. They started the season a little shaky. They're going to right the ship this week, and they're going to find a way to beat the Lions in a close one.
Okay.
They're going to find a way. It's going to be another fun game. They got Eddie Lacy back, which they have that running element that they haven't had during Aaron Rodgers' tenure. So that's another facet of the game, which is going to help the Packers. They're still ahead of the division, past the division, even though their record says elsewise. The Lions are a good story this year, obviously, but I think the Packers are going to find a way to win, especially in Lambeau, and having a couple extra days preparing for this game. So I'm going with the Pack.
Okay. The next game, we're going to move to 4 o'clock games. 4:25, sorry. The Broncos at Dallas.
All right. Well, like I predict. Well, I didn't really predict it, but the Broncos are winning. There's just no way around it. It's funny. I sold my soul to the devil in one of my fantasy leagues this week. I actually traded for Tony Romo. Got that bad in my fantasy league that I needed Tony Romo. But it's going to be one of those games. Peyton Manning's a machine. He's the sheriff. He does everything. He's so good. And they're just on a different level. They are what the Patriots were in 07, 08. They're just light years above everybody's defense, and it's just insane. And Cowboys are no different, and they're going to do the clean sweep of the 3 out of the 4 division foes of the NFC East. So it's going to be a no-brainer. The Broncos are going to win unless Tony Romo and Des Bryant and everybody else drinks their special drink and they find a way to win. But there's no way the Cowboys' defense is going to stop the Broncos' offense. It doesn't matter how many times like the Eagles called off Papa John's. You see that, by the way?
No, I did not see
Their
that.
audible, the audible call the Eagles would be Papa John's, and pissed off Peyton probably, and he scored 52 points.
When he wasn't playing in the fourth quarter, I'm sure they weren't bothered by the fact that their audible call was Papa John's.
It was just funny. They're just the best team in the league. It's no question on how awesome they are. So they're going 5-0, and the Cowboys are going to be 2-3. And one of the shittier teams in the NFC East is only a game out.
Yeah.
Scary as that may be. But obviously, we're both going Broncos because you have to be the biggest Cowboy fan to think that the Cowboys would win. And both of us are nuts, so the Broncos are winning.
Safe to say that.
As long as Tony Romo gets a lot of garbage yards, touchdowns, and receiving yards, I'll be a happy camper.
Okay. So we got one more game.
The Sunday Nighter. The Niners versus the Texans.
In San Francisco.
In San Fran. Was last week a fluky win with by the way, I do apologize with the Packers. They actually had their bye week on top of playing. So they've had a week off to prepare for the Lions. So that's why I'm going with the Lions. I mean the Packers a couple games ago. Anyway, Texans, Niners. Both teams coming off of 2 different weeks. The San Francisco 49ers played on a Thursday night against the Rams, and they finally got right. They do what the 49ers do, run the ball. Kaepernick finds the open man when they needs to, and he gets a couple touchdowns, and the Niners play a good D. On the Texans, on the other hand, opposite story. They're up 21-3. They were dominating the whole game, finding ways to win. They were getting to Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson had a crappy day. Marshawn Lynch had a good day, but you got to give something up to get something good. They collapsed at the end of the game. They stopped giving the ball to Arian Foster, who had a great game, and they had Ben Tate, who had a solid game. It's going to be an interesting game. I think the Niners are going to finally get on that roll that I predicted earlier in the season. I think Kaepernick had his first slump in his career, and he righted the ship with the extra days preparing for this game, opposed to having the normal week of playing on a Sunday. So I'm going to take Niners.
I'm going to take the Niners. It's in San Francisco. The Texans showed me why I picked the Colts to win that division at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, very fair enough.
Last week, and I just don't think they're a good enough team.
By the way, before we forget to mention, if you haven't heard by now, the Chargers-Raiders game is going to be moved to the Eastern time zone of 11:30 because of the whole scheduling conflicts of the ALDS with the A's. Man, that sewage system is going to reek of awfulness on Monday morning after both teams play. It's going to be a crazy weekend in the Bay Area, and it's going to be exciting to see that transformation of a playoff baseball game to a Raider game. It's going to be fun to see that. It should be fun. So definitely, if you're a night owl, I definitely probably won't be up. I'll probably listen to this, watch the first quarter.
It'll be the game everybody dozes off to on the East Coast.
Yeah,
except for Keith.
Except for Keith, of course.
He'll nap during the 1 o'clock game so he can be up for that game.
Yeah, poor Keith. But good for Keith, because he was just originally not going to get this game. So that's our picks this week. You're going to be able to check it out tomorrow. Steve's going to have them uploaded on Facebook and YouTube. On Facebook, on
Instagram, Twitter, all those places.
All that
okay, better question for you before we finish with picks. Jaguars 0-5?
Yeah. Yep.
Jaguars win first, Broncos lose first.
Jaguars win first.
Okay. Next week, is that going to be your upside pick? Jaguars at Broncos?
Oh, absolutely not. But absolutely not.
I could see that feeling coming in. You're going to have that gut feeling next week.
Oh, yeah, no. Hey, man, I was close. I was so close, man.
3.5 quarters. You were half a quarter away.
I was so close.
Half a quarter away, big guy.
I was so close, but it's all good. I feel confident with the Colts this week.
I mentioned our Twitter before and our Facebook before. Make sure you're following us. Make sure you're liking us. We have breaking SND podcasts on the Schmuck Sports Network News coming out on Monday. I don't know what the date is. October 7th.
October 7th, my mom's birthday. So
happy birthday, Mama Behan.
Easy to remember.
So there will be breaking news for the SND podcast. Thanks again to Andy and AJ last week.
Yes, that was a great show. It was great to see Andrew coming on the show.
Yes.
Pretty much being a rookie in cold feet and growing right before our eyes towards the second segment. So we're excited to have both of them on coming a lot this season, especially with Andrew with the Ranger aspect. I know we have very pro Islanders, so it's going to be nice to have a pro Ranger guy on the show. And have his take for once. Also, keep a lookout. I was talking to Jared today. His article will be coming out soon. Absolutely. Definitely keep that on. For the BlueLineStation.com. And Keep Basketball's coming up soon, so God knows what's going on with that. So I'm sure we're going to do something cool. We're going to have to figure out how to put that in. Yeah, with the whole baseball playoffs, it's going to be crazy.
Baseball ending, hockey, football. Wow. Also, next week is actually going to be our 1-year anniversary.
Hey, how crazy a year's gone.
So what we're going to do next week we're going to do something special on Thursday for everybody. We're going to post, I was able to find in my archives, our first ever podcast show.
Oof.
So not only Thursday, we're going to post
You really want to do that to everybody?
Yes. We're going to post that show. It'll be our little throwback Thursday special for everybody. The first ever, when we were originally called the SND NFL podcast.
Yeah. Oof. Thank God we didn't get sued by the NFL that week.
Anywho, that was a rough month, too.
Yeah, with Sandy and everything like that. So
yeah. So keep a lookout for that next week. I know you're going to enjoy that, especially because you should listen to that one before you listen to our show for next week, because then you can see how far we've come. Come far.
And the Giants actually won. The Giants were winning when that happened as well. So
that's right. We were very excited then. And it was even before Division 1.1 days.
Yeah, so
that just tells you how long ago that was.
Yeah.
Yikes. Anywho, this was episode 47. I'm Steven. Dan over there.
Good night.
Let's go play a little more Division 1.1.
Enjoy hockey opening weekend for all the Islander Rangers and Devil fans. Enjoy the week. Be smart if you're going to the Rock. For any Islander fan and Devil fan, enjoy Saturday night at the Coliseum.
Rangers will be home in a year or two.
The Rangers will be home in 2 weeks when the MSG final edition is finished. It's going to be interesting to see that. So enjoy the football week. Enjoy baseball playoffs and the start of the NHL season. Have a great week.
Let's play a little more Dying Day, and we'll see you guys next week.